Hey kids, good morning. It's Mark Miller here. Welcome to another day of coding here in Visual Studio. And I'm about in the middle of a check-in right now. So let me just, we'll finish that. Going through some of the changes that I made and summarizing those. And then I'll give you a visual of what those look like. That looks like those are all need to go there. And let's push all those changes and commit. Excuse me, kids. Excuse my coughing. Okay, that's done. Let's add a tag. I think we're at episode 183. And let's push that tag out. Go. So that's out there. Looks like that worked. And here we are. So that's today. Excuse me. So today, I said that we were going to do work on the spell book. Let me show you what that looks like. I'll show you online. So let's switch over to the character, and we'll say I want to. We'll use the interface to say that I want to cast a lightning lure spell. So I'm going to click on that, and a couple things happen. One is we switch over to the spells page, which shows what spell we're using, and you can see there that lightning lure also appears in a little pop-up spell book. There are a couple changes I want to make to this. One of the changes I want to make is I want to have kind of a glowing magic kind of feeling behind it. I want to do that. Speaking of glowing magic, I'm just now noticing one of my layers needs a refresh here to get its player data here, because I've got a spell occurring in a couple places. Actually, and I should probably get that clock down too as well. I'm pretty sure I reverted it to the change that brought it up there. Let's try doing a refresh of that and see if that will bring it down. No? Well, let's see what's going on with that. Let's fix that. I thought I reverted the change, but maybe not. I've got it marked over here. No, I do not. I thought for sure I had the favorites here. All right, so I want to get to the clock. Here, probably the best way to find it is to come in here and type in clock. And clock offset X. I think we're close. Clock offset Y. Clock bottom Y. Screen height +8. So it's right. It's just weird. It's not refreshing it. That's weird. That clock should totally. Clicking refresh cache. Maybe the date time on the file has to change. Let's try that. Let's just add a line, delete a line, and save it. And now try to refresh that overlay. That was it. Date time stamp on the file needed to be updated. Okay. All right, so there's the clock down there where I want it to be. So back over to what I was saying before. I can't tell if it's updating or not because there we go. And so let's pick tidal wave. And so here's the essence of it. You see it popping up here. There's a couple things that I want to do to the spell book. I want to give it a glowing effect around the edges of it so it has separation above the pieces beyond it. I want to better position it so that Fred doesn't block it. So I want to put some heuristics in there in terms of determining where to put that, where to put the spell book. I want it also close to the spell, so you can see it's kind of closer, but I also don't want it blocking any other spells. Notice that Melf's Minute Meteors right up there is blocked. You can't see the R and the S in it, likely due to a math error somewhere in there. I also want to add bolded text to this. I'm using a custom font that I licensed through Adobe Fonts for the text of this. I also licensed the bold version of the font, and it's not showing up bold, even though I think I'm doing everything correctly. Well, except for the fact that it's not working, so it's pretty clear I'm not doing everything correctly here. So so yeah, those are the changes. I think the first thing I want to do is I want to work on the glowing. Is what I think I want to do. One other thing to point out, if I choose a different spell, notice the book design, the background essentially sizes automatically. So if we cast Fireball, the book gets a little bigger. If we cast Ray of Frost, there it gets a little shorter. So we have essentially we have a situation where we want to change the highlighting around the background is what we want to do. Oops, let me just do a little adjustment on my camera there. So let me show you some mock-ups of that, if I can bring those up. We're going to start up Paint Shop Pro here, and we'll take a look at the at what we've got here. And also out in my, let me go grab the assets folder. You can see the assets that I generated for this. Let's see here. It's in scroll and then spells.
Sex positive is in the house.
Sex Positive is saying, can you make the card stand or side with a pop-out if you click it? Not really. The challenge in this Sex Positive is that we can't really click a whole lot on the live stream that's going out. So here, let me switch back over to a different player here. Let's hide the scroll so you can see. What'd you get too? Never go up against Sex Positive.
In the house.
Yeah, Sex Positive is in the house. So, so these are kind of some mock-ups of what I want the glowing effect to look like. So the answer is no, not really. The problem is that spell descriptions vary pretty radically. They go from, very long, like Find Steed, to pretty short, like Shield of Faith. Okay, so these are different screenshots of what the spellbook currently looks like. So the width is always the same and the height changes. So I want to have the spell effect adjust so it's glowing around behind it regardless of the size of the spellbook. If I added a clicking kind of interaction, I'd have to figure out a way to do that. I can't actually click on the stream as it's going out. I'd have to create an interface to do that. And I think that would ultimately be more complex to do. And instead what I want to do is I just want the spell to come up, have it glow so it's standing out from the background and looks magical. That's kind of what I want to do. My compromise to make this work, because here's the thing, to create this glowing effect, I have to pre-render the glowing effect, but I can't pre-render it at all the different heights. It would just take up too many resources. So the compromise that you're actually looking at here is, and hopefully it's not too obvious, the compromise, but it's essentially one glowing effect. It kind of rendered at a middle aspect ratio here. and then either stretched out if needed or compressed down. And once you know what's going on, then you're like, oh yeah, you may not like it so much, because if we zoom in over here, you can see that the glow is kind of stretched more up and down here, and similarly down at the bottom, right? And that might be obvious once we have that big one up there. And similarly on the shorter ones, it's compressed down here and here. Now, one of the things I might do if this really bugs me is I might create 3 aspect ratios of glow. One for tall spells, one for short spells, and one for medium. And if I do that, you won't be able to see this at all. It'll all go away. But I'm betting that that this may not be noticeable. It may only be noticeable to folks who know it's there, and to folks who don't, they'll look at it and they'll be like, okay. And so we may be able to solve this with just one. That's what I'm betting. Inside spells, I've got book magic, and these are my assets. I generated these earlier this morning. And if I open that up, just one of these up, you can see it gives me the glow effect. There it is right there. Not so easy to see against a transparent background, but if we create a black background, for example, which is what most of these spell effects are designed for, by the way, a black background or a dark background, you can see it's going to look pretty cool. And then we'll be able to use our color shifting technology, which we've already built into the engine, to change the color to match the school of magic that the spell comes from, which is, here, let's close that, which is what you're seeing here. It's kind of a subtle effect here, but the green of the glow matches the green here. And the kind of teal blue matches the teal blue of the abjuration school of magic. And so that's what's going on here. So we've got an icon for the school of magic. We want to put the glow on, and we want to stretch the glow. Sex positives, I'm pretty special. Also special. That's right, you are sex positive, super special. All right, so those are the mock-ups. This is the asset. I'm going to just put this off to the side here, so we'll be able to get to that, look at that later if we want to. We have to do some math to make this work. We also have to, we kind of got to figure out, let's just get the effect visible and on screen, and then we'll worry about scaling. So the first thing we'll do, let's go into the spell book. This is where I've got the code here, and if you watch the webinar, the live webinar that I did, what was it, yesterday for DevExpress, you saw me showing some of these features off. This is CodeRush's image embedding technology, and I found it incredibly important for figuring out how to build and draw the spell book so that it automatically resized itself based on the sizes here. So like, for example, here I've got spell page header height, and I have this piece here. Although I think I stopped using this I refactored it. Yeah, it's not used anymore, so we can get rid of that. But I am now using, oh wait, maybe I'm not using this either. Looks like that one's gone too. It looks like I'm only using the ones up at the top. Okay, so we can take out this too. I was using this in trying to get this correct. And so now we're just to these right up here. So basically spell bottom margin, and then I've got a cropped piece of that margin, basically of the bottom of the book, telling me what those 23 pixels are right there. And then the School of Magic height is in here, and the spell header height is right there. So I'm kind of getting those pieces and adding those together. All right, so now we want to add some sprites for the glow. So we're going to call this the book glow, I think, sprites, like that. And I'm going to go find where we bring in School of Magic. And I guess we'll do a duplicate line on this. And there's our book, whoops, not that. What did we say it was? It was book glow is what we said. Let's go put it up here. Wait, what's going on up here? Yeah, I'm going to put it right here. And by the way, the trick to making this whole thing look seamlessly and generating this, I should probably show that too so you can see what's going on with that. There. It consists of two pieces. There's a top part of the book, which looks like this with this nice blend. And there's a bottom part of the book, or a back part of the book, that's cropped, depending on how much we need. And because these lines are pretty much vertical all the way up and down, we can take this top part of the book and just move it anywhere we need it along these lines, and then essentially crop or cut the other piece, like something to this effect, like here. And then now we have a nice, what's seemingly perfect rendition of a shorter book to draw on. This blend is so subtle you can't see it even without text on it, and when you add text to it, the whole thing looks perfect. So that's what's going on there, and that's what this image here is it's talking about, the call to draw cropped, and what these different pieces are, so I could figure all of that out and get the cropped image. Now, so we got the we got the book glow, we're drawing that. Now we need to add something to the book glow, and we need to initialize it. So let's go find our School of Magic. Where else do we need it? Here's some initialization right here. And let's see what else we have here. This is where we're adding inside the create spell page call. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say this.bookglow, and we'll add a bookglow. And we'll call add shifted because we want to shift the color on this is what we want to do. And so we need to figure out its X and Y. And I'm going to say we're going to just for now say left and top. It's going to be close to the back, I think, with those two pieces. The starting frame index can be 0. And the hue shift, this is going to be something I've got inside of here. I'm managing hue shifts based on, here they are right here, based on the School of Magic. And how do we get those out? It looks like this. Okay, like that's what we're looking like there. And so the hue shift is going to be here, and I think it's called hue shifts. There it is right there. From the School of Magic spell. And then we don't need to worry about saturation or brightness. Okay, so there's our add shifted. Now, we're going to have to stretch this. Need to stretch this and absolutely nail the top left position, or whatever, our position is on this, so that it's perfectly set up right behind it. That I think might be a little tricky to figure out that math behind there, but it's not rocket science, so hopefully we'll be able to get that. So there's our book glow. We've added the add shifted to that. We've got that. Let's go into School of Magic, and let's come in here and load this up. This is coming from Scroll Spells Book Magic. And the piece is called Book Magic. That's the file name. Let's see how many frames there are over here of animation. About 119. And the frame rate is here, frame interval. I think I have something called FPS. There it is right there. Let's go say 30 frames per second. And this is going to be a loop. Okay? And I think that's it. That, I think, has a shot of bringing that up behind it. Let's try a refresh. Right here, we'll do it in this one instead. It's got a white background, but we'll at least get it up and working and glowing, seeing if that's working there. So there's a refresh, initialize player data. Tidal wave. Got some error. Oh, no, we didn't. Got something weird happening. It's flashing on and off. Oh, we got an exception. Failed to execute. The image is in the broken state. Oh, I think I know what my problem is. My problem is that there's one more parameter to here, which we need, which is true to pad the file index. Let's go refresh again. As a result, we're only going to see, like, it's only going to load up the first 9 images, and then when it gets to, is that right? Or no, it only loads the last 100 through 118. So let's try one more time. Let's refresh. Let's do tidal wave. There we go. Okay. So that's what we're looking at. So obviously now we need to fix this. We need to make it so it's going to actually get launched behind it. Now we are getting the color shift though. The color shift is right in there, and we're nailing that. I'm not sure how to position this. I'm just not sure how to do this just yet. I've got a couple approaches to do it, and I'm not sure which is the best one. Hey, Jetsam. Welcome, buddy. Thanks, Daylight Savings. And hi. Yeah. So we are just working on getting this glow effect behind the tidal wave spell is what we want to do, and we want to scale it. I think. Well, let's see what we can do here. Let's see what we already have, because I'm not sure if we need to add code or not. I'm pretty sure we do. So this is going to be, we'll call this the book glow, and it's of type sprite proxy, and or actually it's color shifting sprite proxy. And which descends from sprite proxy, and I think there's a scale. What does set scale give me? Does that give me individual ones? Because that's what I want. No. Okay, so we need to change the engine to support individual horizontal and vertical scales. Is what we need to do. How big is the problem? Is the question. I'm just tabbing to Nick's reference on here to see all the references to this. Let's bring up find references on here and see what we got. Got 41 references to it. And here's what I'm going to do. Let's go in, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new property called scale. So property of type number, call it scale, like this. We're going to initialize this equal to 1. And actually, I'm going to actually change this, create 2 of these, and we're going to call one vertical scale, and the other one called horizontal scale. Like that. And and if we ask what it is, I think we're going to do that. And if we set it, we're going to say horizontal scale and vertical scale are both set. So if we set scale all by itself to 1, we're going to set both. And if we get it, we're going to return just the 1. Then I think I want another property called vertical scale that only works with vertical scale on here. And that's going to grab this one. There's that. Let's take that whole thing and duplicate that, and then go to horizontal scale. So now we have individual scales. Now, we need to fix this too. Draw by index takes a scale, and we need to fix this, draw by index. So we needed to go get two pieces. We only call it, how many times do we call it?
Surly Dev is in the house.
Surly Dev, how you doing, buddy? Damn you, daylight savings time. I missed the first 29 minutes already. Now because of the ad, I missed my pumpkins. Oh no, you missed your pumpkins. They were awesome. Among the best pumpkin swish we've ever had, buddy. Really good. It was weird this morning. Sex Positive got 2 fanfares in a row, and I'm not sure how she got that. She totally scored. 2 different fanfares. Yeah, now the ad's over. It was so good. Surly Dev, it was really good. Maybe we'll play it a little later. Hang out with us and we'll play it a little later. All right, so let's go look at draw by index, see everywhere it shows up. So what I'm doing is, if you look over here, I've got tidal wave here on the screen here. Let's go ahead and let's hide the scroll. What happens? I wonder what happens when I hide the scroll. Cool, that goes away. All right, so we've got that thing I just disappeared as a spell book. We're working to create a spell effect behind it. Yeah, it disappeared over here. We're working to create, actually not a spell effect, but a glowing effect around the book, so the book looks like it's magic. And to do that, we have a glowing effect, which is about this aspect ratio right here, the green one. And we need to shrink it down or stretch it out to fit the book. That's what the code we're going to work on. So to do that, we have to change the engine to support horizontal and vertical independent scales. So I'm now looking at draw by index, which takes a scale coming in here. And what I want to do is I want to see what's my impact in terms of changing this function. How many of these do I have? Let's just hit Shift F12 on it. And I've got 10. Okay. I'm going to say that's not too bad. Is scale the last one? If scale's the last one, I can kind of do a trick. Oh, it's not. So I can't do that trick. Well, hold on. Let's see who's calling this with sending a scale to it that without anything after the scale. No, this one is where scale's the last one. This one, no scale at all. That's okay. I think that's no scale at all as well. So no change is needed there. Okay. Yeah, no scale. No scale there. That's the frame index. What's this one? Also the frame index. Excellent. Okay, cool. So actually the impact is much less than we thought. All right, so we can do a trick. Cool. Here's the trick. So we're going to change this, rename this to horizontal scale. Like this. We're going to default it to 1. We're going to insert a second parameter here, which is going to be our, which we're going to default to -1, which is our vertical scale. Hold on a second. Damn you guys at DevExpress, they're fast at replying. Good to hear that. I got an answer to the ticket I raised about the color bar not displaying in my code. Remember, yeah, I asked you last week. Within about an hour. Nice. That's great to hear. If Roy isn't showing up until after the show has started, does he now get a fanfare too? I got nothing for him other than
He's awesome.
we might do something like that when Rory comes in. Maybe something like this.
Level up.
I don't know. Something like that. Yeah. Okay, let's go back out to where we were. And okay, let's keep working on the code here. So I've got vertical scale here. And now what I think I want to do is I want to say, hey, if vertical scale equals -1, would I ever support negative scales? I'm thinking I would not. For now, I'm thinking I would not, so this test is okay. So basically, if vertical scale is -1, then we're going to say vertical scale is equal to horizontal scale. So now everything that just ended with passing in 1 as the scale is totally good, because that'll be 1 for the other scale as well. So anything that passes in just one of these options and not the second, we're good. All right. Okay, draw by index. So we've got that. Let's go. Oh, and inside, we need to fix inside, though, too. Hold on. So we're here. And then we want to say we need to continue this, or horizontal vertical scale is not equal to 1. That means we're transforming. Where else is horizontal scale used in here? So here we go. So horizontal flip scale times horizontal scale times vertical flip scale times, oh yeah, vertical flip and horizontal flip. Yeah, we don't need -1s because vertical flip and horizontal flip, just throw the -1 in there. So we're good. The answer to the question is no, we do not need to pass in a -1 ever. So this is going to be times our vertical scale. And I think, is that it? I'm betting that's it. Horizontal scale anywhere else? Yep, that's it. I think we just changed the engine, and I think that's going to work. Draw by index. So now let's look at this. So now here we have a problem, though. Anytime we have this, we have anything following scale, we've got to fix that call. So the first one is horizontal scale, like that. And the second one is vertical scale, like that. That's what we're passing in. Let's see where else we're calling that draw by index. This one is just the scale itself. That's for the drone. The drone's always going to be scaling itself with the same, maintaining its aspect ratio, so that's not a problem. What's this? The sparks, same thing with sparks. I don't need to modify this. Headshot index, same thing, no need there. There's no scale here. Nameplate parts, same thing there. We're not going to do this weird scaling on any of those. Here, part. We need to pass that in. Vertical scale and horizontal scale. That's what we need to do. So we're going to pop in here. I think I'm going to do the same trick, or maybe, yeah, let's see how many draw calls I got. Let's do a Shift F12 on that. I have 16. Yeah, I'm going to do the same trick. Thanks for the check-in, Frackberg. You know who else is with us today, Frackberg? It's our good friend Surly Dev.
Surly Dev is in the house.
Here he is, kids. He's been here for a while, but he missed his intro because of an ad was playing. So, well, thanks for the check-in, Frackberg. Yeah, a lot of pumpkins. Going to try for my AWSSA Pro before the end of the month. Well, good luck with that. Yeah, well, cool. Get a bite and then back to the books. All right, excellent, Frackberg. Glad to have you with us. Thanks for the check-in. All right, so back over here to the code. Important I stay focused on this because this is engine code I'm making changes to, and I don't want to mess this up. Thanks. It's definitely one of the harder tests I've gone after. Yeah, let me know about that. Yeah, let us know how you're doing with all of that. Definitely things we're interested in knowing. Okay. So let's see, draw by index. I'm passing in both of them here. I don't know why I had this comma here. What? Wait, draw by index. Oh, here we go. Okay. So horizontal scale, vertical scale. Okay, good. And then I want to do something here that says, if vertical scale equals a -1, then vertical scale is equal to horizontal scale. That saves our calls. That's what that does. Surly Dev, last I checked, this is November. I think I mean this month. Could be very wrong. It's really not out of the realm of possibility. I like that attitude, Frackberg. Just checking because whenever I tell someone I have something done by the end of the month, I always add, I don't know which month at the moment, though. Nice. It's awesome. I love that. Yeah, when I was younger, I used to say, it'll be done in 2 weeks. 2 weeks was always my estimate for which anything could be done. So I would always say that. All right. So now we've got this. I have a little bit of anxiety about adding this in here instead of just updating all the calls because I'm adding arguably unnecessary code just to make everything easier. Maybe I'll just say this to do update. This leaves my anxiety. Update all the calls so vertical scale is specified. I don't know. I can go both ways on this. Right? Being able to just pass in a single one for the scale or what is nice, or being able to pass nothing is nice. But if I update all the calls, then I could individually change this from a -1 to a +1, which I think is maybe nicer. And let's do that. And change. Uh-oh. Every time.
Copper Beardy is in the house.
Welcome, Copper Beardy. How you doing? Yeah, I need another shower. I totally did, Frackberg. That's what I needed. Okay, so let's see. We've got the vertical scales here. We are still in the middle of, I want to come back over here. I'm going to drop a marker right there for draw to remind me. I'm going to keep going through draw by index to make sure I didn't miss anything. Looks like I didn't. We're right back around to here where I pass in the horizontal scale and the vertical scale. So that's what it looks like. We're good. We've done a full loop. Let's just double check by going around every single one. Double check every one. Here we go. We're passing in both horizontal scale and vertical scale. Here we're just passing in scale alone. That's for the drone. That exception is okay. This is for the Spark. Same thing. That exception is okay. This is for the player headshots. That is always going to have the 1-to-1 aspect ratio there for the scaling. And what is this? This is the scroll back. Same issue there. So we're good. See you, Frackberg. We'll have a good one. You have a good one too. We don't have scale that we're passing out, so these don't matter. This one we've got both, and we've done the full loop. Okay, now let's go back out to draw here and see who's calling draw. and passing in a scale. And we got this guy, the drone. Cool. We've got Gravity Games Planet Surface. That's cool. We've got a rocket. That's cool. We're not going to be warping any of those. I think we might be totally good on these. I'm just tabbing to next reference, the chutes. All of this is going to have, wow. Okay, and we're done. So that we just totally did it, and we're good. We can just pass in one scale, and the second scale will match it, right, by doing that. Now, I could update all those calls to pass in scale twice, but or individually pass in horizontal and vertical scale. But I think I'm okay with the ease of the ease of readability of this line of code right here. And then what we can do now is we can come in and we can go to the spell book. And we can do, well, we can do a couple things here. Now we can come in here, we can say horizontal scale is equal to 1. And let's just say, let's just change the vertical scale on this and see what we get. Make it 0.5, like that. And and that should do it. When it's drawn, that should scale it. So we need to calculate its X and Y position and how much we're going to move that, but that should do it. Let's refresh and see what we get here. Tidal wave. I don't see the scale occurring for that. I don't get it. Can I set a breakpoint? Vertical scale is 1/2. Let's drill in. Vertical scale is still 1/2. There's my translate. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, here's my problem. Okay. Weird I missed that. Let's do something else. Let's clean up this code a little bit. Let's come in here, create a new Boolean up here called scaling. Let's set that equal to any of this. Like that. And why not, for readability, come in with a rotating as well. And set that equal to this. And then we've got transforming is equal to rotating or scaling. And then what's cool about that is now I can come in here and do this. And then I can come down here, right there, selection increase, and then paste right there if rotating. Sweet. I think that's going to work. So let's continue to run here. We need to refresh out over here. I think we got a shot of this thing actually working now. All right, initialize player data. And let's bring up let's bring up a different spell, message. Okay, good. Now we got to do some math to get the scale right. So let's do that. To do that, I need to, I think, open up one of these and take some careful measurements here to get all this correctly here, to get this all correct. So one of the things I think I'm interested in is the distance from here to here. I'm interested in that. And so I'm just going to select that, and I'm going to copy that, I'm going to paste that in as a new image, and I'm going to bring up the image information on it, and it's telling me that that distance is 89 pixels right there. So let's do that. I'm going to, in fact, I've got this on the clipboard. Let's go into the code, and let's go into our spell book. Let's go up to the very top, and let's declare a new constant for it. We're going to call this, here, let me paste that in. There's the image right there. We're going to say book glow top margin. I want to, you know what I want to do is increase the contrast of this image, is what I want to do. Give me a second here. I want to come in here, create a new raster layer on this, and let's fill it with, I don't know, something that looks a little bit like a scroll background. Or actually, I want it kind of darker. I want it kind of a, maybe something like this. And then we'll move this down there. Now I want to take that image and copy it, and come back over here and paste that image in here so we can really see what's happening with the glow here. So book glow top margin, and that is equal to, what did we say it was? 89. So it's equal to 89 right there. We need this because that tells us where the top piece lines up. The other thing we need is we need to know the distance from here down to here. And so let's take from here and go to there. I want to go from the same spot roughly in both. And I'm just going to take the center of both pieces right here. Because this is the piece we need to change it, the height of, essentially. Like that. So let's take that. We're going to copy that to the clipboard, paste that in. I'm going to do the same trick I did before, new raster layer, because I want to actually put this in the code as well so that I can visually see what I'm doing, so that when it comes time later to maintain this, I'll have this image here for me. So I'm going to copy that image as well. It's going to be long, but I think it's going to be worth it. So we're going to come in here, paste that in there. It's a long image, but it's going to tell me what this piece is. So when I'm figuring this whole thing out, we'll be able to do this. So this is going to be the book glow height, is what this is going to be. And the answer to that question of how big it is it's 623. Right there. Okay? So we'll make that 623 in the code. I can do this. If I don't want this to take up so much space, I can scale it down and do something like that. Right? I can do that, and then there it takes up less space, but it still gives me the general idea that I'm going from top to bottom in that. And if I do want to ever undo that, I can just come in here and say restore original image or ask original scale if I want to do that. That'll bring it back up to where it was. I'm just going to undo that because I like it kind of smaller, maybe a little bigger, like that. And I'm holding the shift key down to keep its aspect ratio. So there we've got our book glow height. Now, somewhere in here we've got a function called create spellbook. Spell page. And in here we have a total spell page height. I want to see how accurate this is. I'm not sure how good this is. I'm going to send that out to the console, and let's measure it to make sure that what we're putting out here is what we're expecting in terms of that height. I want this thing to be from the very top to the very bottom, and if it's not, I want to figure out what that is. So I'm going to refresh. Excuse me, and let's initialize player data. And let's pick K chaos bolt. That's kind of a long one. And let's look at what it told us in the console. Total spell page height is 617. Let's see how close that is to reality. So we're going to come over here. We're going to paste this in as a new image. And I'm going to grab from here to there, including that 617. And let's see, how big is it? 629. It's off by 12. I bet it's always off by 12. I wonder if there's an explanation for why it's off by 12. I think I can fix it with a magic number, is what I think I want to do on this. And I'm pretty sure it's the bottom margin. Although, well, hold on though. We have this thing right here. Interesting. We're not actually adding this. I think we're maybe off in the wrong direction. I think there's a top margin as well. I'm still feeling a magic number fix to this, is what I am, because all the other code is working, and all I need to do is just do this book spell height adjust is what I'm going to call this, and we'll document it as it's kind of a magic number here. And before I verify this, before we actually leave this, let's verify with a second spell that it's off by 12. So we'll come in here, we're going to pick Dragon's Breath. All right, and let's grab that. And come over in here, make sure it's not nobody's crazy here. Total spell height is 311. And let's see what we get when we come in here and we grab this from there to about there. And let's see what that is. 327, 311. Yeah, it is off in this case by a little more than that, 16. So let's split the difference between the two. Let's do one more just to, let's do one more. We're going to do, Ava's got one called Steed, Find Steed. And that one says 869. Let's take a screenshot of that and come over here. Let me hide the scroll here. And let's paste that in. And see how big this is. Is it 869 minus 12 or 14? Let's see what it is. 888. Yeah, minus about 10 gets me 878. 888 versus 869. This seems to be off by more. It's off by almost 20. Starling Dove says, just read your Dragon Humpers page. That's funny. Nearly snorted almonds out of my nose. Is it live yet? It is not live yet. We are, it's not my fault that we're not live yet. We're waiting on everybody. We got a few more practice games we need to play. Everybody's got their own thing. Nobody's getting paid for anything. And so, sometimes people can't make it. So we are trying to get, we just need a couple more practice games before we go live. But I've basically signed off and said, hey, the tech is good enough to start going live. So we've not gone live yet, but follow us. Follow us there at Dragon Humpers, or at twitch.tv/DragonHumpers, and hopefully we'll be as funny as the description is. That's my hope. It's my hope is we're closer to the Monday style that we had before, but it's also Dungeons and Dragons, so we can't really do prepared bits like we could do in Mondays. So Mondays is a podcast I used to do with Karen, Carl Franklin, Richard Campbell. And but it's, we got people with good attitudes at the very least. We'll say that. Don't snort almonds. That's my advice to you. Okay, so let's see. Here we're at 88, and we're off by, 88 minus 69 is, are we at 19 off right here? It doesn't make sense that this would be a scaling factor that was off. That doesn't make sense to me. If I say, I'm like still like, yeah, this is me. I'm like, yeah, let's make it 14 and see what happens. Spellbook height adjust. All right. So now what we want to do is figure out how much we want to scale it. So let's go down into the code where we add our book glow. There it is right there. Add shifted. And we need to work with a couple things. We need to work with book spell height adjust. We need book glow top margin. Let's put these together. And we need, whoops, looks like I got the wrong thing here. We need book glow top margin. So just hit the copy key, Alt-Shift home to swap marker positions, Alt-Shift home again, get me back up here. Book glow height, Alt-Shift home, coming back down here. Okay. And so now, total spell page height is here, here, here. Spell book back height. So we definitely need this. I think we're okay here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and say, before I send this out here, I want to say, spellbook height adjust. Like that. Hopefully we should get something that's much closer to what we want to do. Then we need to say, we need to figure out what our scale is here. So we're going to say vertical scale. Looks like Rory should be coming in here in a second, by the way. Let's make sure I'm ready for that. Think I am. Here he comes. Look at that. Uh-oh.
I heard my cue.
Yeah, you know what's crazy though? Check this out, kids. This is what Rory's seeing. Rory's seeing the whole show through my NDI. He's got to watch that whole thing before he gets into sync at high speed. I wonder if I can...
Catch up.
Yeah, you're going to catch up right here. Let me see if I can do you a favor by changing my camera and then changing it back to the... So I'm switching away from NDI, and now I'm going to switch back to NDI, and let's see if we're just back to normal. No, we're not. Oh my gosh. Let's go into... let's try some... What'd you say?
Oh, the video's back, and it seems to be up to date.
Oh, it did work. Wow. Okay, so I had to switch back and click OK. Switch away, come back, click OK. How you doing, buddy?
Good. I'm doing very well. Had a good day.
Let me show you what I'm working on. I'm working on this. I've got spell books that show me what spell is being cast, but I don't have a glow effect behind them yet. I changed the engine to support vertical and horizontal scaling independently of each other. So I've got one spell, this one spell glow effect, this thing right here, and I'm going to shift its color, and I'm going to compress it.
Dynamically make it the right shape for the individual.
Yeah,
plants.
yeah, that's what.
Dynamic. Very good.
Yeah, so this is my mock-up right here. Now, the downside, I already pointed out. I can't look at this without seeing the downside on this. And I can't not see it once I see it. But the problem is that if I stretch it out along the top, it's going to be really stretched compared to the medium kind of thing here. And if I compress it down, if we come down over here, like looking at this one over here, right? Whoops, hold on a second. Right here, zoom in on this. So you can see here, the top one is now flat and compressed compared to the medium kind of length here. So I'm not sure anybody will notice, but I want to try it. And if
I think you got to just put that down to the mysticism behind the whole thing, and it looks great.
Okay. All right, we'll see what happens here. I see it now that you pointed it out. Now, it may be something nobody notices. It's designed to be subtle. We're going to drop basically my goal here is I want to create a separation between the spell effect and the background. That's what I'm trying to do, because right now it just looks like, whoop, it's like somebody slapped it on the interface, and I want it I want to have suspension of disbelief. I want you to believe it's a spell book, right, when you look at it. So this is what I'm trying to do. Now, if this is a problem and we want to fix it, it's not hard to fix. I can create a taller version of this and a shorter version of this. So I have 3 versions of the highlighting. Pick the one that's closest and then scale that one.
Minimal scaling.
Yeah. Also, I'm making heavy use, or I'm really relying upon CodeRush's ability to put images in the source code. Right here. See this right here? This is actually, I scaled this down, but this is actually much bigger. But I'm basically saying, here's my book glow height, so I can figure out and do the math. So later when I'm coming in here and looking at this to figure out what's going on, I can get some sort of frame of reference, either a reminder or somebody else is maintaining it. If that ever were to happen, they can look at it, they can see the image right there. Right? And what's cool about this is when I check in these files, I'm also checking in the images, so you'll be able to see these too when you open these files and you have CodeRush loaded. So yeah, I'm using these for all the pieces in here. So here's the deal. The book glow height. Why? I just hit tab next reference. I don't have a reference to it yet. I think in here, I don't have a reference to it. How'd you get the image into the source code? You copy the image. You're going to love this if you have CodeRush and you haven't tried this yet.
Copy it from Paint. Copy it from basically any location you get the graphic from.
That's right. Copy it. Then go to a comment and paste it. That's it. That's all you have to do. It's mind-blowingly simple. Because every once in a while we do really, really good work. Every once in a while we do really, really good work. All right, here's the book glow, top margin book glow height. So we want the book glow height when modified. So basically the math looks something like this. Oh my gosh, I haven't done this yet. So the math looks like, can I actually work my way through this? It's like something like this. Book glow height times vertical scale. We want that to equal the total spell height. Total spell page height is what we want. We're looking for that. And so I'm just coming in here. I think I can I forget how to set the font size for this. I think it's just like that. Is that right? Oh, Rory, I'm forgetting how to do that. How do I, see if you can look that up for me while I'm, no, that's not how.
Apparently my voice is a little low.
Oh, thanks. Let's crank it up. Try speaking again for me, buddy.
Testing 1 2 3.
Yeah. Okay. I forget. There's a formula piece here. Font size equals, I don't know. Can you know what you're looking up for me right now, Rory? Is that right?
You actually, yeah, I was having a quick look, but I believe there was something to do with, got hash symbols or something like that to change the scale.
Oh, let me try that.
I can't remember.
Let's
or
see.
Is that the markdown, just the raw markdown?
Nah, that's not working. All right, let's go look it up. I know I freaking blogged about this. So anyway, let's do this. CodeRush formula change font size. Is that going to get me in the right spot? Formula, latex formulas. It's a semicolon. I just need a semicolon after it. Okay. So semicolon right there. And what's the 1 do for me? There we go. Better size. Let's make it a 2. And so there's the math. It's basically
Scroll that a little higher, Mark. It's sort of hiding behind Fred's head.
Sure. Right there. So there is the math. I wonder if can I do a 1.5? Wouldn't that be exciting? Hey, sweet. Look at those devs working so hard. So there's basically the math is book low height, whatever it is, times the vertical scale is going to equal the total spell page height. Now I'm trying to solve for the scale. So what that means is I need to divide both sides by by this, like that. And so it looks like that. Isn't there a div? I think there's a div thing. /d? No, I want to say there is. Div. Is that right? Nope. It's not /div. What is it?
I'm looking at a big list of things. What's the...
It's fraction. It's frac is what it is.
Okay.
Frac. Okay, so here we go. So I just want to have one over the other. Is what I want to do. Whoops, what's happening here?
Curly braces, I believe.
That's it. Okay, thanks. Curly braces. All right, working my way through it. All right. An element is missing.
Curly braces around each thing. So I think frac, curly braces first thing, space, curly braces second.
Oh, okay. Sweet. There we go. And now we can pop the scale up here. Let's go to 2.5. See what we got. All right. So the vertical scale is equal to total spell page height divided by the book glow height. So sweet. Let's do that. Total spell page height. And let's divide by the spellbook dot book glow height. So that's our now. I'm not going to worry about the top margin yet, but we will soon. Let's just do that and see if it compiles and works. So where is it? I think it's on this page. Yeah, there it is right there. Let's refresh. Close our over here. Roy, people were asking about, giving you fanfare.
He's awesome.
That's all I got. Oh, I got also, how was your day today, buddy?
My day was good. Today
Cool
was 5th of
story,
November,
bro.
which I don't know if it matters much in the US, but over here this is Guy Fawkes Day, or night,
Oh,
and
yeah.
we celebrate attempts to blow up Parliament, which,
I did a
seems like a crazy thing to celebrate, but hey, let's go with it.
I did a bit on Mondays about Guy Fawkes Day. And
Oh, yeah?
I spoke derisively of the whole holiday, knowing nothing about it, which is, what I do, right? Being able to come up with a great opinion on something I know nothing about. All right.
Fair enough.
So here we go. I just shared my sounds with you so you could hear that, hear what's coming across as well.
You can hear that.
Kobe Selva, I have fond memories of learning assembly language. What are we talking about? Was watching a stream the other day doing the Z80 emulator. Oh, wow. Brought me back to my first encounter with assembly. Explosions are fun. Interesting. WorldWake is out there. WorldWake, I checked a bunch of stuff in today, including the timeline updates, which I hadn't done before. You might have better luck with everything I checked in. And I'll check everything in again at the end of this show here. All right, so let's initialize the data. Send over the new data.
Merkin.
Here's the tidal wave spell. I'm going to say that looks about the right height. I think our math is working.
Yeah.
Distance from here to here and the distance from there to there look pretty good. Okay, next we need to move it up.
Yes.
And the question is how far? Because it's off by a certain amount before, and we need to move it left too. The left move is not too hard. Let's stop our scaling for a second and just get the position right. Okay, so I'm going to stop my scaling for a second here. I'm going to comment out this right here. And might as well do this too. Well, I don't know. That's not going to have any effect either way. We still got book load top margin to worry about. So we need to nail the top left position. I want to get that nailed now is what I want to do. The left adjust is always going to be the same. Whatever that is, we're going to figure that out. That left adjust is going to be, in fact, we can figure it out. We can, in the image editor, I'm pretty sure that left adjust is going to be this right here, whatever that is. Let's do this, and let's copy that to the clipboard. Wait, and let's open up a new piece. And what I'm doing is I'm just creating a new layer here so I can get a decent image for CodeRushed, because I want for the code, so I can put this in the code so I can see what the thing is that I'm calling this thing. So here's that. Let's copy that to clipboard. Come in here, and we're going to duplicate this line of code, and we're going to call this book glow left margin. And I bet it's going to be close to that 89. Let's paste it in right there. So there's our left margin right there. And let's see what it really is. So it's 95. Okay. So I'm sorry, that was pretty quick. But what I did is I just brought up image information, and I had my eyes already looking here, and that's the one I want, the 95 right there. Okay. So that's what we got. App settings JSON supposed to be there, or do I create it myself? It's still missing. I think you're going to have to. I think app settings JSON has got stuff that like secret stuff that I can't share inside of it, if I'm recalling correctly. And unfortunately, because I'm live streaming, I can't open the file up now in any way that I would consider safe.
Stuff like your Twitch secret for running things, what have you.
I'm pretty sure that's in there. All right, book glow left margin is there. Now, so when we come in, you know what else I want to do? I want to take this method, which we've been working on. I want to cut this to the clipboard. Let me get a selection increase one more time. There it is. You can see right up there, I've got the whole thing up to the spell page declaration. Cut it to the clipboard. I just want to move it down to the very bottom. So I have a very quick, fast way. Sometimes I'll do this. I'll put the spell I'm working, or the method I'm working on, the function I'm working on, down at the bottom, and so I can very quickly get to it. What's spell page right edge? Why is that commented out? What am I doing with that? Anything? Yeah, I'm doing stuff with it, but I don't know why it's commented out. Okay. Let's get rid of that there. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to say, when we add it to the left, I am going to subtract that left margin that we just figured out. So we're going to say minus spellbook dot, what is it? Spellbook. Is it book glow left margin? So there's that. And we also have to subtract the top margin as well. And let's just see if this lines it up. Okay? And without any scaling. So we're going to come over here, do this, refresh that. Meanwhile, let me hide that. WorldWake is asking, am I the only person who ever cloned this repository from scratch and tried to compile it? That might or might not be true. We've had other people make changes, but those have been to some of the other projects inside of here. You might be the first person who's like, wait a second, let me actually get this thing up and running. And it's not going to be easy because you don't have any of the image resources for it. And you know, there's some Twitch interaction as well, and so that's why the app JSON, the app settings.json is in there. Mm-hmm. All right, I just want to try the D&D bot since it looks so cool. I don't mind the bot. Yeah, you can try it. The problem is the D&D bot is so much of it is using assets to do the drawing, so you could get it running, but you wouldn't see those elements inside of there. That's the piece that's tricky. And again, it's because I used assets that I've licensed just to me. I didn't license them to the world, so I can't share those assets. All right, so we have this. Whoops, hold on. All right, let's initialize the data. Sweet.
That is looking nice.
That is really not bad. It is. You could maybe argue those need to be adjusted just a little bit. Drop down the values just a little bit for each of them.
Maybe bump slightly to the right.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, when I say drop the values, yeah. When I say drop the values, because right now we're subtracting both of those margins here and here. If we drop the values, it'll subtract less, which means it'll go to the right. So let's maybe take 2 off of this, make that 87 instead, and take 2 off of this, make that 93, like that. And let's do a refresh. Okay, there's the refresh, send over the data. What's really going to be cool is what this looks like on a darker background. Okay, here's a different spell. Let's bring up Detect Magic. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Although the right side, I think I want more over there.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely going to do the right, and I think I'm going to do the top as well. I'm going to.
Difficult to tell the bottom edge on that particular one.
The bottom, you don't care, because what are you laughing? Because you know.
Well, I'm
are you mocking me?
A very short spell that at the moment is preceded by a very large glow effect.
Yeah. The bottom we don't worry about because we're not scaling it. I turned off scaling on it, so we'll figure that in a second. But I'm going to move these over again another 2 pixels here, and see what that looks like. So refresh. And send the data. And let's do Melf's Minute Meteors. It's not bad. It's still, I think I can go another 2 pixels. At the very least, moving right. I just want a little more of that edge there behind it. Let's do that. Let's go 2 more pixels over to the right, the left margin here. So this is going to become 89. And what the heck? Let's drop this down over here. Top margin as well. And one more time. Refresh. And send over player data. And switch over to here. Yeah, I love the effects, by the way, spinning around me. All right, and let's see. Did I fail?
Ava.
There we go, Ava. All right, Ava's got Find Steed, which is this massive spell with a huge description. I'm starting to feel it. I think maybe 1 more pixel in both directions, and I'm going to call that done. Then we got to go do the stretching. So let's calculate that. So I'm going to drop this down to 83 and drop this down to 88 right there. And then we have to figure out how to stretch it, is what we have to do. So the stretching, well, the problem isn't the stretching. The problem is once we stretch, we've got to figure out the new top position, right? Because here's the deal. This book glow top margin, we're subtracting that. But what we should really be subtracting is a scaled version of that top margin. So we need to create a something that looks like this. Top.
Mark, we've got quite a large spell in the way of the stream. Can't really see your code window at the moment. There we go. Nice.
Is test close not working?
No, I've given that a go a couple of times, but it doesn't seem to be responding.
Okay. We'll refresh and get that working soon, but just keep reminding me if you could, if we keep doing that. All right, so let's see. Top margin, top scaled margin is equal to this thing divided by times the vertical scale. So we need to come back up here. We need to actually calculate vertical scale up above and then pop it in here times the vertical scale. And then
That seems wrong, Mark. You've got a vertical and a top, which is great, but you're using a left to right glow margin.
oh, you're right.
Algorithm.
You're right. Hold on. I need over here this one. I've got a few other problems too. Thanks for saying that. So that's what I'm looking like there. I need this this bit of code here. And I kind of need it up here. And wait, hold on. So hold on. This is going to go here, and that is going to come up here. So there's my vertical scale. Then these two pieces can go below. And I think we're good here. I think we're good there. Top scaled margin. Got to do this. I feel like that might work. That's, I think, the math that might get this thing to work. Let's see if we're close or if we just screwed everything up. I was also thinking about when you came in, Roy, doing this.
Level up.
That's right. The whole stream just leveled up. All right. Let's see here. We're going to initialize player data. And bring up tidal wave. It's a little short.
It is a little bit. It's not so easy to see because we've got the stream version of this also on top of your browser.
Yeah, I can get rid of...
That said, we can just about see at the bottom there.
Yeah.
Maybe just drag it to the right a little bit.
I can also zoom in. I can kind of freeze it for a second and zoom in. Here's where we are. It's like we're off a bit. So we need our scale...
The mouse is looking good, though.
We need the scale to be bigger. Total spell page height. So that means our spell page height needs to be bigger. Look, we're not doing this. This line of code needs to come up above it. That, I think, could make the difference right here for this math to all work. Let's try one more time.
Sort of unable to see again, but I suspect that since we're refreshing, it's not a big issue.
Let's hide that scroll. Yeah, I can't hide the scroll on the stream. Well, you know what I can do?
It's a challenge, isn't it, though? Because you're right. You're trying to hide the scroll, but the scroll is the thing we're trying to see, so in a sense...
I just hid the scroll on the screen. So I took that overlay off. So that overlay's turned off. Right now, we'll turn it back on in a second. Just refreshing. Okay, there we go. All right, so let's move this up so we can kind of see it. There's Ava. Ava's got a couple spells. One of her spells is Shield of Faith.
That's not bad, is it?
It's not bad, but...
There is a little bit more on top at the moment than on the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
no.
The top looks good.
But I'm noticing that squashed effect I was telling you about. The thing that I said I'm not sure if I'm going to notice it or not. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to say spellbook height adjust. I'm going to make this bigger. I'm going to make it like, say, 28. Let's just see what happens. Because what's going to do is it's going to make that whole thing bigger. Let's go in here. We'll refresh it. I think we can tweak it with the magic numbers, what I'm saying. And by the way, if you're worried, I should have heavily documented this. It's a magic number is what it is. So basically, I'm just tweaking it. Everything, the pieces that are magic get a comment, and the pieces that are math and solid, they get a picture. All right. So here we go. Let's try doing tidal wave. And let's scroll it down so we can see it.
That's definitely made it bigger.
It sure did. More than I wanted it to be. Yeah, maybe I'm working on a multiplier that's a percentage multiplier. Maybe I need to be thinking about that instead. Let's drop it down. So where were we? We were at 14. Let's go to 18, maybe 19, and refresh it. And I have a feeling we're going to get something that we're going to say, okay, that's good enough, is what I think we're going to get to here. Here's initializing the player data. Willie's got a spell called Protection from Good and Evil. Oh, that's looking pretty good.
That's nice, yeah.
He's got one called Hideous Laughter. That's looking pretty good.
So good.
I think there's a little bit of extra glow on the bottom. I can move it up a bit. The left and right's not bad. Move it up and left here, which means we want to increase both of these because we are subtracting. Top margin. Yeah, we are subtracting, right? So we're subtracting from this. We want it to go higher. We want to make these numbers bigger. So let's switch back to like 85 and 90 for both of these. So do I want to change the left-right orientation? Ooh, I don't think I do. I don't think I do. I'm going to do this. So let's change those two things. Let's refresh it again. And I'm almost thinking let's test it on the stream because, it's going to look cooler against a darker background. So let's turn it back on the stream again and initialize the player data. Wait till it's done refreshing. There it is. Initialize player data.
Merkin Bushwhacker. Ava.
And let's go to Willie and Protection from Good and Evil.
Very nice.
That's not bad, but it's also not good.
Ghosting around the edge.
I'm sorry, what are you asking?
So if you look at the image on screen in the stream,
Yep.
where the 85 is, and then just look further and further right,
Yes.
there's something that doesn't quite blend with the back.
Yes.
The black.
Yes. So that's a problem with the, so there's kind of a hard edge. You're talking about a hard edge right about, let's see if I can get my mouse on the screen here on the stream. I don't see my mouse. I really don't see my mouse? That's interesting. My mouse is, there I can see it, but now I can't. I have to select some code. I have to get code behind it. Hold on a second. So, and then select the code, and then I can see my mouse over the selection. There we go. All right, so right here under the mouse, there's it's a problem with the asset. The asset is not blended all the way to the edge. So I could regenerate the assets, get a better blend on it to fix that, is what I can do. So that's what I'm going to call that. I'm going to call that. That's a fix that I can do later. If I want to do that. I actually don't, that doesn't bother me as much because I think your eyes just aren't on that, right? You're going to have other things in the background. The position of this, I think, needs to be moved over a little bit, but I think in general, that's not bad. Now, here, the top doesn't look so bad, but it's also pretty, it's not really, it's not a very short one. Let's see if we can find a short spell here. Let's switch to Dancing Lights. Now, that's a big one. Mage Hand, that's a big one. Shield, I think, is a short one. So here, maybe it's not a big deal. The up and down. Do you know what I mean? I think it's not that big of a deal.
In terms of the sort of the quantity now on each of the borders, I think that looks fine.
I'm talking about the aspect ratio change and that the top and the bottom, because we're scaling it, are squashed down. The glow effect across the top is squashed and flat compared to the sides. Compare this to Ava's Fine Steed, and now the tops are really stretched out.
Oh, I see.
And the bottoms are stretched out. The top and bottoms are stretched out, and the sides are not bad. But I'm kind of feeling...
It would be more of an issue if you had multiple of these on screen at once for comparison.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. And so I don't think it's too bad of a problem. Cure wounds. I think it's not too bad. There's cure wounds, heroism. Okay, I'm going to say I think the effect, dare I say the effect is done? Should we call it done?
Oh, yeah. Good enough.
All right, so now I want to work on positioning because notice Fred is blocking.
Yes.
I want to get some heuristics so we get this thing in the right spot here is what I want to do. So,
Duck Fred.
Yeah, Doug, I don't want to put it on top of Fred because I don't want to block Fred, but I want to kind of get it out of the way. So let's do this. Let's take a screenshot of this and let's bring it into our image editor. Just kind of get some rough, and we'll hide the scroll here. Let's get a rough positioning on where Fred is and how he's blocking. Wait, let's do this instead. Let's come in here and grab from here to here and do that. And then invert it. And there we go. And now let's scale it to 1920. And so now there's our scaling. And so now, right about here, I'm looking in the bottom right of my image editor, which I'm blocking right here. By the way, look at this guy right here. He looks pretty intense. And I'm just looking at the coordinates down here. And I've got basically the top of his head is about 676 down. So let's do this. Let's, hold on. Let's do this. And I'm going to crop it there. I'm going to copy that. And I'm going to go into, so let's do this. Let's copy from here to here. Right? Actually, from here down to here. So we kind of are showing the top of Fred's head here. Or maybe all the way to here. Like that. So let's do that. And let's crop it, copy it. Now we're going to go over here and I'm going to paste it in. Because I want to have, a sense of what's going on here and why do I have, why do I have that. So I'm pasting this in big, but I'm going to go ahead and scale it down like this. And we're going to create a read-only piece for this guy. And we're going to say Fred's head Y. Head top Y is going to be, and we're going to figure that out. It is, it's actually to right about there.
Now, Mark, do you have a sense of how tall Fred is compared to maybe other characters which, for unknown reasons in the future, may substitute their position with him?
Same height.
Same height?
Yeah. So I'm not worried about that. So the height, so Fred is 722 pixels down right there. That's what he is right there. So that's to the top of the head. And to the right of the head is about, It's about 196. So 722, and then Fred left, or Fred top, Fred head. Let's do this. And X, what did I say it was? 196. Okay, so I kind of want to add a heuristics. My idea is to add heuristics that says, hey, look, if you're blocking Fred's head, then move at least out past the Y, whatever we call the safe distance there. Then I also want to know where his shoulders are, though, as well. In fact, the image, I think I want to change this image. Let's delete that. Let's make it... Oh, what the heck? We'll just use this this whole thing. Because I'm basically looking at 2 points in here for the heuristics. I'm looking at his head. Can we put it right here is what I'm asking. And if we can't, if it's going down even lower, then let's try to get as high as we can and get it above his shoulder.
If you're trying to shift it to the right, are you not just bleeding into the next character along?
Yeah, but the next character can move. In other words, if I'm blocking it and somebody wants to read it, that next character can
okay.
I guess you
create
could
a bit of space between the two sets of shoulders, yeah.
Yeah, although you are making a good point. Maybe why should I care? Why should maybe just try to get it above everybody's head. And if I can't get above everybody's head, then at least move it to the right. I think that's what I'm going to do. So let's do this. We're going to scale this down here, so we can kind of see what's going on here. So Fred had X and Y, and I think the X actually, I want the X to be out to here, where to show the safe distance of it is what I want. So that distance is 277. So I'm going to change this to 277. So the logic, the positioning logic is basically, are fireworks local to you, or am I missing something else?
Instafluff is apparently hearing fireworks. I just wondered whether they were coming over my
Oh.
mic and I was missing them, or if they're local to him.
Or I think he's talking about the effects that are happening over here on the screen.
Oh, well, that's true. Sorry. Slightly distracted by the plausibility of fireworks in person in this locale.
Let's do this. We'll refresh both of those, and that'll clear them out until the next time we cast a spell. Those are spell effects that are happening. Okay, so the positioning logic basically says, hey, one, can we get the spell above Fred's head?
Yep.
And two, if not, move it to the right. Move it to the top and to the right, the top of the screen, and to the right of Fred's head. That, I think, is the logic. Like that. I
That
think
sounds good. Yeah. Yeah. Because you're deliberately moving it out of one character, a headspace, which even if there is a second character, is the better option, right? So the second character can either avoid it, or you guarantee lack of collision in one area at least.
Yeah, so right here, what's this? This is, I think, our last assignment to top before we start using it. And so top and left have all been established at this point. So here's where we want that positioning logic to show up. So we need to check to see, now I want to see what's going on here. It's top plus spell height plus spell margin is the bottom window height. So we're checking to see if it's off screen on the bottom. If it is, then we open it up. We lift it up. But really what we kind of want to do here is, instead of checking the bottom window height, we want to check, well, this, I'll go ahead and keep this logic. This just gets it all up in screen. Now what I want to do is I want to say, oh, interesting. Total spell page height was not incorporating the bottom margin. That's what's going on. So remember, it was off by a bit. I used that magic number. Spell bottom margin is 23. What's my magic number? Spell book height is 19. That's like 4 pixels off. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with, oh, geez. Geez, what should I do? Should I go with the other one? Plus equals to the, I'm going to do a consider on this. Consider changing to spell bottom margin. That's what I'm going to do. So let's go back over here to do consider adding instead of this. I think that feels better to me. Then we get rid of that magic number. Okay, so the total spell page height is added there. Where does spell page height? It can't use it there. It needs to know that without the book spell height adjust. So this number needs to be without it here. And so we've got this kind of bottom piece right here. And I think what I want to do is extract this into its own method. So we're going to say, call it get spell bottom. So this is the bottom of all the text, because that's really the most important thing right here. Get spell description bottom is what we're going to call that. And then now I can use that elsewhere, and I can say, so now we've adjusted, so we need to call it again. So we're going to say, we'll call this, is bottom a bad word? Can I not say that am I in trouble? Or no?
I'm sure you're fine.
Yeah, okay, fine. All right, so we're going to call this spell bottom. What if I say it like that, though, in a British accent? Am I in trouble now? If I say
I'd be amazed if anybody even recognized it as
British accent?
well, it's just that it's probably more likely to that's like sort of Queen's English rather than typical slang.
All right, good. So we're good. Everybody's safe. We're still a family show. All right. So now I want to say, hey, if spell bottom is
So let's just be clear. We're distinguishing now between the various boundaries of the spell page and the boundaries of, if you like, the spell content. So that we're happy for the page itself to sit behind Fred's head as long as the text doesn't. Is that right?
Hold on one second. I wasn't listening to you. I want to create another function called get new top. Let me finish this and then I'll listen to you. Give me 1 second here. We're going to say we want a new parameter in here, which is going to be the okay. So get new top is based on a bottom position and a spell page height is what that's going to do. So now what I want to do is, I think it's going to clean up the code we're about to write here. So we're getting the bottom again, and we're going to say, hey, if the bottom is less than the spellbook dot Fred's head y, then we want to say top is equal to get new top, and we're going to pass in Fred head y like this. And then we want to say, hey, is if top is less than 0, then we want to say top is equal to 0. So now we're at least keeping it on the in frame. And now I think I want to get the bottom one more time now that we've made an adjustment here.
Are all of the numbers relative to the top left?
Yes.
So doesn't your are you testing spell bottom being greater than Fred's head y? I.e. that one has pushed past the other?
Yes, that is correct. If spell bottom is greater than Fred head y, then we want to bring it back up. And if top is less than 0, then it's there. What is going on with this? Do I have a second spell bottom that I've created here? Redeclare? That's not good. Where's my spell bottom? Oh, it's just down here. Sorry. That's okay. I just need this. So, okay. So now I'm going to get it again. And now the second part 2 is if spell bottom is greater than spellbook dot Fred head y, so it's a really tall spell, then we're going to do our final thing here, which we're going to say left equals spellbook dot Fred head x, like that.
The condition is dealing with verticals when it should be left to right again, so left and x.
No, I don't think so. So what we're doing now...
Oh, I see. Sorry. If it does encroach on the head, then move it to the right.
So at least it
Sits on the shoulder almost.
Yes, yes, yes. That's what I'm
Okay.
saying. Move it to the right. In fact, maybe we could even do this. So we've got that, but we might even come in here and say, well, if the spell bottom is greater, or actually maybe something more like this. If it's greater than Fred's shoulder, Y, then we make it Fred's shoulder X, like that. Otherwise, if it's greater than its head, so in other words, if it's bigger than its shoulder, we get it all the way and we position it, if I can move my mouse, yeah, there, you can see my mouse on the stream, I think, right there. So we just have the bottom over here because his shoulders, he can't move his shoulder or do anything like that. So let's go declare these pieces as well in terms of, and get those numbers for where those are. So let's take those, duplicate both of these. Whoa, wait a second. I selected 2 and I hit duplicate. There we go. Maybe I just, it's going to be shoulder, Y, and this is going to be shoulder X.
So Fred head Y was determined to be the top of Fred's head. Fred head X is the right-hand side of his head.
Yep.
And likewise for the shoulder, we have the top and then the right-hand side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like that. And this one is going to be the, we'll get these numbers in a second, right side of Fred's shoulder. And the other one's going to be top of Fred's shoulder. Okay. And top of Fred's head. Like that. Okay. Let's get those numbers on there. So shoulder X is, I can just,
277 then.
it is 8, I got 880. Well, about 80. Yeah, what is it? 893 is what I've got. So 893 for the, or I'm sorry, for the Y, 893. And the X is coming out about 380 is what I see here. Okay, so there's the X and the Y. Let's change this so that we've got X and Y first. And so that's cool. Yeah, I'm loving putting the images in here for something like this complex.
Oh, it's really nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was thinking earlier, you almost, for finding an image, it'd be interesting to have a facility like, I don't know, tab to next image. But the thing is that in order to do that, you'd have to place the caret within it, and you'd actually enter edit mode. So it'd be slightly strange to do that.
Yeah, interesting though. Interesting idea. Certainly cool for a demo, right? To be able to tab between those. All right, so let's see here. Tidal wave. And let's turn it off on the stream here so we can just see what's going on. And
challenge being you don't have Fred in the browser.
Yeah, that's correct. Let's go actually, yeah, I think you're right. It's probably better if we just refresh in the browser and we'll test there and we'll see if our code is just working. And if not, we'll set a so let's see, sending over the data again. By the way, tomorrow, I think I've got a really cool show planned. Tomorrow, it's super ambitious. We're going to create a debugging tool for the expression editor that allows us to set breakpoints from our UI while we're running the app. So we can set a breakpoint. Well, I don't know. That's my intention.
Well, I think you're right about ambitious. That's good.
Yeah, I was
a challenge.
I was kind of, lucid dreaming it this morning, and I was like, oh, okay. So, I was imagining the classes needed and what we would need to do it, but I was imagining step into, step over, right? Being able to set breakpoints, and I was thinking, oh, how great, because we really need to be able to debug things. Like some of the stuff that I'll show you, the one I want to debug. It's, hold on, it's in features. This one right here, Wild Surge Rage. I want to be able to debug this expression and step through it.
Yeah.
But I can't do that because, it's an expression evaluator with no debugging support. So I forked the repository, cloned it, and got that ready. Was thinking about doing it today, but at the last minute I just decided to do the spell stuff. Console.writeline debugging. Says Hugo. Hugo's in very, very quiet. I'm hunting buggy wabbits. HNSQ7, glad you're here. Says spells are awesome. Roy, there was a demo showing Unity new input system on MIDI keyboard that showed some fireworks. So I want to be able to step through this. This is our test for what we want to build. I think it's going to take us a couple days to build it, but I'm going to build a UI for it or my intention, I'll tell you, here's my intention, right? We could get blocked at any point, right? I looked at the source code for the expressions editor, and it's all in one file. And,
wow, really?
And it's probably not an exaggeration, hundreds of regexes that make it possible to do what it does. When I saw it, I was like, no, all these regexes, which is why it's slow, I think, right? Which is why, when we execute when we execute hundreds of these, it takes a few seconds. So it's slow, but everything we've thrown at it, it works. So, I'm like, all right, we'll keep it. It's a little slow. It's not like the performance is a killer constraint on this because we are because we're doing this in UI time, right? Almost all of these expressions are evaluated in UI time, so it's not too bad. But I want to be able to step through this code, and I want to build a debugger that steps through the code, and I think we can do it based on a quick look at the original code that we're using. Now, if I'm wrong, we brought all these down as NuGet packages, so we're going to have to remove those and denugify them, and then just use our forked version instead. But if we get it working, I'll check in my changes. I'll do a pull request on my changes and see if those might end up improving the expression evaluator. But yeah,
awesome plan.
But performance is the issue. All right, so let's see. Back to testing. We have not yet tested. Did I send the data over? I think I have. Looks like I have. Let's choose tidal wave. Okay, I can read all the text. And look, it's moved it up above the head. You know how I know? Because normally tidal wave, the word title in this, which is over to the left of my mouse cursor, would show up right to the left of where the caret is now, where tidal wave, the spell, has a red dot next to it. Right? So that normally I line up the spell with the spell name with the spell name. So, but it's been moved. So that's cool. Let's keep checking some of the other spells. So let's try Dragon's Breath. Dragon's Breath, see, it's a little closer. See that the title of the spell is closer to the title of the spell. That's normally where I do it. But notice again, look at the word energy right there. We can add a couple pixels to that to move that out a bit. Let's do Lightning Lure. Totally fine. There's the lineup that I'm normally trying to strive for right there. Mage Hand. Okay, that works as well. Ray of Frost. Totally fine.
So none of these are obstructed by Fred any longer.
That's what we're looking at. Chaos Bolt used to be obstructed
Even that
by...
one.
Yeah.
That would be a lot more obstructed, yeah.
Yeah, let's do the biggest one is Ava's Fine Seed. That sucker is not good. Okay.
But it's gone to the right, which is what we wanted.
Yeah.
So in principle, that's working. It's just not working enough.
Yeah, it's not working enough. We're going to have to make some changes. So that's what we're going to have to do. Who needs a spell for Dragon's Breath? Just a bit of blue cheese and goat cheese before bed. We'll do it for you for free, says Hugo. Hugo's got a link to no.com.
Yeah, I followed that. It's awesome. I bookmarked it.
Is it really? Can we show it to the kids?
Oh, it's totally friendly. It's safe.
Nice. If you're reading this, oh yeah, okay. Let's try it. All right, that's pretty cool. I don't like how the sound just cuts at the end. I want it to
It
fade
does a
out.
bit.
I want it to fade out. But, you know, that's me.
When you're in desperate need for a no, that'll work.
All right, so this is not bad. Let's move it over. Let's give it, we got to get it out in front of those, we got to get it out in front of the, it's not the shoulder, it's the arrows. It's out over here. So that's 360, 360 is about what it is. So let's go back in here. Let's modify that. Wait, I put 380. Did I get this wrong? What is it over here? It says 360. Oh, it's the head is the one I want to change. I want to change the head to be over here, which is 355. 355. Right side of Fred's arrows.
So interestingly, if it had been just a little bit longer, it would have pushed down into the shoulder and been shunted further right anyway.
I think you're right. That's exactly right. We would have missed the bug, I think, is what we would have done. So it's kind of actually cool that we're here. There's one more spell that's longer than this, or there's a few, but nobody has them yet. We'll have to add them, but we can actually do that to test this right now. So let's get a refresh here. Just change that value. All we need to do is come in here to the back overlay, do a refresh on it. So we're refreshing that. And let's send over the player data. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost looking like a professional show, Rory.
It's very professional looking. Our impersonation of professional is very high class.
Now, one of the things we can do is we can drop the opacity on the background, the smallest amount. And if we drop that opacity, we're going to fix that edge that you're noticing. Like I'm noticing the edge on the stream right about here, where my mouse is on the stream. If we drop the opacity, like say to 75, I think the effect still might look good. And let's try that. I'm actually pretty satisfied with the with how this has worked. Let's make it 0.8. And so right now we can see that edge. Let's see if by dropping it to 0.8, if we lose the essence of this effect, or what I think will happen is it'll just be a little more subtle, and it'll be totally fine. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to that. Looks like the scale is a little bit too much. The bottom effect is too much as well. But I'm like, you know, it's I'm not sure I want to fix that just yet. Let's just drop the opacity down and see what happens. Let's do one other thing too. Let's bring up our player data. Let's go get our players, and let's go get another spell with a really long description in it, and give that to somebody. So I'd say astral projection is maybe a good one to look at. It's about that big.
Okay.
Let's grab that. Let's give it to me, Merkin. Spells. Pop it up at the beginning here, astral projection. Let's save the data. Let's grab this. This is where I need to put it. Go back out to spells. Oops, not spells, sorry, players. And file, download, comma separated values. Oh, good, I'm in the right folder. And let's change it to players. Replace it. Now let's reload, and we will change. We'll see what happens here. Initialize player data.
Merkin!
And do I have the spell? Guess what? I don't have the spell. You know why? Because astral projection is too high for my level, I think.
The engine has trumped your attempt to the system.
I think that's what's going on. Let me change just see if that's the case. I'm going to briefly change my level to 20. And let's export one more time.
He says briefly, but you know that might last a little longer.
I'll be like to my dungeon master, what? To the other players, what?
But I'm supposed to have astral projection.
I'm
See? The data says.
I'm secretly level 20. All right, refresh again.
Lady McLovna.
Oh, I think I got it now this time. Here's what I'm looking at. It said, oh, you're level 20? Well, let me give you, fireball at all these different levels. What did we say we were astral projection? I still don't see it. Oh, here it is here, special. Okay, there it is. So let's see what happens when we click that. Ah.
That's an interesting effect.
Yeah. We have a problem. This is happening because the back is not big enough. We have a description that is greater than 1080p on the spell. I think we've got to either truncate it or drop the font size down.
Any chance of a scroll panel when it exceeds a certain length?
Yeah, but how? Yeah, Karen was on the stream earlier asking about a similar kind of expansion, and no, because where's my UI going to be? I'd have to put it here and hit a button, and I'm like, this is a problem we're going to have later. I actually don't have to fix this today, but in fact, I might not. I might not fix this today, but I think the solution is dropping the spell size down. Is what I think it is. What about something like the character scroll where extra is in the bottom curled part? Yeah, that's cool. I could kind of do that. I could also just, end it as well. We could say, well, let's just take the last paragraph or something like that is what we could do. We could say, let's show a certain number of paragraphs and then we're done, right? I think ultimately, at some point, we need to, the detail, at some point, it's the description. Yeah, I think we're going to have to, I'm going to put a to-do in here that says solve super long spell description problem challenge, like e.g. astral projection. All right. Now, let's move to something else. How much time do you have, Rory?
I'm good for a little bit longer. Yeah, I probably can make it to half past the hour if
Good,
you need.
because I want some help on something. So other than that, though, I'm pretty happy with this. The effect is pretty good. Oh, we dropped the opacity
Nice.
down. Can we see the edge? Did we refresh? I'm not sure.
If it's there, it's very much softer.
Wait, let me refresh here. I'm not sure I actually refreshed on the live stream. Let me refresh one more time, and we'll look specifically just at that problem. Let's go into players, do this, come back over here. The cool
Bushwhacker.
The cool thing is, Rory, we've never tested this before. That looks like that's working at this level.
Does.
Also, it looks like I've got all the sorcery points I should have at this level as well. That's all happening from the expressions
You are
engine.
all powerful at this point.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. Okay, so let's look at just, oops, what happened? Why did I not get on the stream?
Eva Wolfhard.
Try one more time here. Feinstein. Okay, let's get this out of the way. I still see the edge. I still see the edge even with opacity set to 0.8. Let's try 0.5 and see what happens. Just do a refresh.
Is this the opacity applied just to the effect itself on the edge?
Yeah, it's just the edge opacity for the book glow.
Okay.
It's this line of code right here. Okay, here comes the initialization.
Merkin.
Here's Merkin. Here comes tidal wave. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it. It's just too much. What if we did 7.5? what do we got there with 7.5? Let's refresh again, see what it looks like. So I got a font problem, Rory. I should probably talk to you about the font problem because I have a feeling somebody else's perspective is going to help me solve this.
Okay.
And I want to show you that before we go.
Merkin Bushwhacker.
Here's 0.75. This is better. And I don't see the edge. I might go with this instead of fixing it, because it gives me just the effect I want. It's translucent. It stands it out. It doesn't look so, before it was looking like, here's a graphic I stuck on, So I think we're not bad on there. I think I want to move up I want to make one other thing. Notice how the word "and" in the bottom left of the spell is right
Very close.
Yeah, it's just too close. I want to, so I want to change his Y and bring it up to, let's move it up by, say, I think we need to move it up by 8. So 706 or 716, 716. Let's do that. And
What was the previous value?
it was 722, I think. I move it up by 6, so 14.
Okay.
Let's move it up to 14. All right, let's do that real quick. We'll do the test on tidal wave. And you still got time. I'm not burning into my font assistance time with you, right, Rory? How much? I'm
good for a while. I got at least 20 minutes.
Oh, good. That's what I think it might take to solve this font problem. I just need somebody smarter than me. That's
Merkin Bushwhacker.
Okay, I have to go looking for that.
Here's tidal wave. Yeah, I think that's better. It's not as it seems like it's still a little close, but it's not so close that it's interfering with my feature detectors and letter detectors in my brain. It's not bad. I think I can move it just a little more. Let's take this to a 10, and then we'll say, okay, that's it. We've done it. All right. So let's show you the font problem. So
Is this a sudden change of a font?
No.
I thought I noticed a strange effect when tidal wave appears at
Yes.
first. It seems to shift from one font to another.
It is. Don't worry about that. I'll explain what's happening there. Okay. In fact, let's go over here to explain what's going on. So I've licensed these fonts, two fonts specifically. Let's go over to sources. I think we can see them from sources. Here we go. They're over in this space. Somewhere in here. Here's the call right here. So I've got this link, this href right here to this special typekit.net.css. If we open this up,
We close the actual tidal wave because
yeah, let's do that.
it's
If we open this up, this is what it looks like. So it declares these font faces for me.
Yep.
Okay. And it declares 3 of them. One that's italic, one that's normal with a font weight of 70, which is bold, 700 and one that's normal. So I'm trying to get this one, and I can't load this. This one is all I'm getting. Now, what's the reason for the font change is because we're grabbing it out from the internet. The first time we show it, it doesn't have it, so it gives me something different. But then it gets it, and it refreshes, and everything's cool. And it's only happening when I first load up the page. So it's not a big deal. It only happens the very first time. But what I want to do is I want to get this font, this bold one. And I'm actually setting that font. Here's my detail font, bold font name. I'm setting it here in this.
Do you only want the bold one? Do you ever want the one that isn't?
No, I want both. And I call set detail font bold just before I call fill text in the show detail. In other words, I'm passing 2 strings to show detail. This, it says casting time, and then the actual casting time. I want the second string to be bolded. So in my show detail call, I set the detail font here, and then I set the detail bold font here. That's what I wanted to do. The problem is this is failing. Wait, is it because the bold needs to come before the font size?
Not normally.
I wonder if that's the case. Let's change this a second. You don't think it does? Because here's what's happening.
Well, this is just, I mean, not that we're obviously getting there in a slightly non-standard way, but it is just CSS, right? I mean,
Context, canvas, draw string, draw text or something, draw text, bold, font. So I've looked at examples for this, and let's look at those examples and see what's going on here. The bold, oblique. Here, play this one, font weight. And so if we do bold, they're putting the word bold at the beginning.
They are.
And if they do 700, they're putting it at the beginning. I wonder if that's my problem. Let's try it.
No harm in trying, though, eh?
Just change this. And instead of passing these pieces in, I'm going to put in the size here. So I'm going to say it is 700. And then we're going to say the detail font name is what we're going to do here. Like this. That's what this would look like here. Maybe that'll do it. And
hang on a second. You've got 700 for the weight.
Yes.
Then you've got that, and then you've got the right. Okay, yes.
Then I've got the PX, and then I've got the detail font name, which is just going to be Mrs. Eves. So let's see if that flipping works. Let's do a refresh over here. No harm in trying, just like me and dynamite. Yeah, so there's the refresh. Let's send over the data. Wow,
That's
it
false,
did
and then
work.
It isn't suddenly.
No, it worked. It totally worked. It's just that the description came in bold, and I don't want the description bold. But check it out. These are
That
bold
is, yeah.
like I wanted them to be. So we just have to undo the description. That was the key. Rory, you're a genius. You saved us all.
My sheer presence
Yeah, that was awesome.
enabled you to decode the problem.
Yes, because I tried all these different things over here in detailed font, bold name. So we're going to get rid of that. And there's our detail. Boom. And then we need to just say set detail font normal again at the end before we add the description. So let's go find that. Show detail. And boom, boom, boom. And then where's our description? This is all inside a beta function called draw spell details. And then here's where we want to set that font back to normal. Draw spell description. Well, we can do it actually inside of here. Let's go do that. What is it? This dot set detail font normal. Context. Anything else? That's it. Okay. So we can do that. And then that with a refresh should get this how I initially designed it, where I want it to be. One more time. Players, initialize player data. And switch to Merkin. Tidal wave. There it is.
That's nice.
There it is right there. And so you can see it's kind of a subtle effect for the pieces that you want. But
I wonder, can you speed up the so it doesn't change? If you were to download the CSS file and have it locally rather than have to reach out to the typekit.net?
yeah, it really doesn't matter because it's only the first time, right? And so I do this before we start the stream.
That's true. Yeah.
And see, now as soon as I do anything, right, it's just instant, right? It just loads it right up instantly. So, so good. Now, the next thing I want to do, I don't think you're going to be able to be here for this, but the next thing I want to do is some of these have damage that changes at different levels, like Fireball has different powers at different levels, which is why the UI built all these buttons for me. It built the Fireball 3, 4, 5, etc. I can cast it at all these different spell slots. Let's see what happens when I roll the attack. Is it going to take it out of the 9th level slot? Yes, look at that. I love that. We never tested that, and it totally worked. Also, all my 9th level slots should have gone, except for Melf's Meteors. We got a bug there. But all the other 9th ones is left. When I do Fireball at 8, all our 8th level spell slots should go away as well, with the exception of Melf. So we should see Dragon's Breath move away when I click here and run it. Dragon's Breath does too. Sweet. But the problem is that this is no longer correct. Something in here changes. And
Yeah.
so what I want to do is let's go look at Fireball. And this is the last thing we'll do. Oh, you know what? Actually, it's not the last thing to do. The last thing we're going to do is we are going to shut down. We're going to shut this down and restart so that we have control from the chat room since Roy's going to leave us soon. Roy, again, I want to thank you for solving our font problem. You are a genius. Oh, wow. And other
Reflect your genius.
Here's the other exciting things that are happening. Here's all the data that's coming into automatically. Again, this is all happening from the expressions that we have for the character that define the character. So we've got all these different spell slots here at this 20th level that we didn't have before. Yeah, just what I was thinking. Oh, wait, Hugo's asking the same. Oh, had asked the same problem. Yeah, there's already a warm-up process. And that happens while everybody else were connecting and doing all the other technical connections. The act of getting these screens up and loaded, everything, all the load on demand plus delay loading all occurs while we're running through our other sound checks and green screen checks, that sort of thing. There's parts that are manual, but the loading of all these things are all happening in an automated way. Well, maybe with the exception of selecting one spell. I have to select one spell and get that load to occur. So there might be a way to fix that. So, okay, so what do I want to do? I want to reload my overlays is what I want to do. And let's kill every instance of Chrome before I start the run. This will get us some music, too, for when it's time for you to go, Roy.
You mean like that music?
I don't think...
Oh, no, you're reloading.
Yeah, I'm reloading. I don't think you can say...
A little bit ahead of time. Damn it.
Watch your language, sir. It's a family show.
Good point. Yes. Oops.
He was talking about building a reservoir stopping kind of, or something to stop a body of water. He was talking about that. All right, let's...
Yes.
Hopefully this will change soon to local 44303 instead of about blank. Looks like it's loading up. Weird that it still says this for a while. What? That's
Nothing's happening.
super weird.
That's really weird.
But I have in the bottom right, I've got this thing up here.
Yeah.
What is that? What's going on with that? Why don't I have that? It's loading stuff up.
What's happening?
That's weird as heck. It's weird though. Oh, there we go. Now it's been updated. I was waiting for the Chrome to update the title bar there. Now it finally did it. Okay. I wanted to go over here, and we were looking at. We want to look at spells. We were looking at, I think, Fireball, and Fireball had some other effects at higher levels, as I recall. If I was at the right one. Here we go. So check it out. So I added these columns to basically take the rules of D&D. And so basically bonus threshold. So basically we use this level, and whatever level we're just throwing the spell slot at, we throw an additional 1d6 of damage dice to it. So basically we've got some data here that can fix this, right? So what happens is we have, that's the additional damage. So we need to go to, and our regular damage is, where's our damage die? Regular damage string, dice string. It's here. Wait, that's Flame Strike. Hold on. Fireball. It's 8d6.
Wow.
Okay? So in here, that's 8d6 of fire damage. So we look at the description for Fireball. A target takes 8d6 fire damage on a failed save or half as much on a successful one. What I want this to change to is something else.
Right.
And I think
Not
it's...
going to be static text. It has to be a calculation.
Yeah. And I think it's going to look something like this right here.
Yeah.
Or maybe not, or maybe it's going to be bonus calculation or damage. I'm going to just say spelled
The nice thing about this is that if you do it that way, you effectively have a token embedded in there. When you could make it so that the engine recognizes when it sets text that it has a token in and could respond to dynamically reevaluating the text when it is announced that the token has changed its value. That way you can just change the value from anywhere and reflect the new text.
Yeah,
should
no.
it happen to be on screen.
Yeah, no, I'm going to do that. I absolutely intend to do that. So that's kind of what I want to do. I want to check to see somewhere in here, we've got a inside of, I think it's in casted spell. Let's go find that. Casted
Mark has casted invisibility.
spell. How did that happen? That's not good.
It's a neat trick.
Because,
Halloween was a few days ago, though, right?
yeah, like, hold on. Am I totally gone from, oh, I'm there. So, but I'm missing from here? That's so weird. I'm a little nervous. Oh, you know what I bet happened? I bet I'm totally off screen for some reason. I bet you, let's see what my transform looks
So you
like.
didn't go invisible, you teleported.
Hugo is in the house.
How did I get off of screen? I'm really nervous about turning the camera off and on. Hold on.
Well, yeah.
It's funny because the whole thing has been like, oh yeah, I'm way off screen.
The camera must be working because you're in the other shots.
Hold on. I'm way off screen. This is not good. What's happened if I switch over? Uh-oh. Rory?
Yeah.
I think I have to type this out. Oh, never mind. I was going to say OBS, I thought just crashed, but it did not crash. Let me check another screen here, right here. I thought we were going to die. Let's do this one. This one's not bad. I'm in the right spot here.
Oh, well, Fred's gone.
Yeah, he's gone. Let me come back over here and let's delete this one and then paste back in a new player cam over here. Move it down, get it down in the right level. And I think I'm okay now. Let's go. All right, that's not bad. I think I'm okay. So wild what happened. A little nervous about that. But yeah, because basically the positioning just changed automatically. What are we doing? Oh, I want to check to see, how are we doing here? Can we fly drones? We got music. That means we can probably fly drones. We can fly drones. All right, cool. Rory?
Yes.
Thank you, buddy.
No problem. my
We'll
friend.
see you
No
tomorrow.
problem whatsoever. Absolutely.
You were-
I look forward to it.
Wait, don't leave your drone. Delete your drone, sir.
How do I even do that?
You say type in drone with a -1.
Like so.
Yes, exactly. All right, buddy.
Hasta lasagna.
Talk to you
All right.
later.
See you later.
Bye. All right. So I want to go find casted spell. And the die stir. This is the thing I think we want. Let's try it for now, and we'll make a change because I think it's going to also show the fire damage in it, and I don't really think I want that. So I think it's going to be spell _ Deister, like that. So let's save this. See what we can do with that. Put the spell data down. See if test smoke works now, Hugo. I'm going to send that out. Yeah, that's the one. What's the other one? The Mark Thinking one. I forget what that one is. Thought that was test smoke. Yeah, test smoke just does that. Whatever it is, it's that one, the thinking smoke right there. That's the thing I was thinking about. All right, let's go back over here. Let's go into players, initialize player data. And I think I got Fireball in here somewhere. Yeah, Fireball, level 5. Oops, I got to change. Now, let's see. Fireball. Why are we not? What's going on here? Did I just not refresh it? That's probably what happened. Yeah, it's not changing the pages. Oh, I know why. Because I shut down, I've lost Signal R from this app right here. So I'm going to close this down and restart it. Shutting down still, I think. Whoa! Look out! Gosh, who's flying that thing? Come on! Hugo! Nice dodge. Yeah, I see what's happening here. All right, let's start it up again. All right, reinitializing player data. There we go, there's a change. Fireball at level 4. We should see the piece we just added. Yeah, so there it is right there. Spell die stir right there. So now we got to figure it out. So let's see if we can do that. That's happening up here at let's see if we can find it. We need to go into, I think it's called actively casting. Yeah. This guy right here. And then in here. And then here. All right, let's click Fireball 5. Get a breakpoint. There we go. All right, spell slot level is 5. Sweet. Ooh, wait, but I don't have all the data I need here. All right, maybe let's kill this a second. We'll run it. I'm gonna shut it down. I think I'm gonna change this code. Let's do this instead. Oops, I'm in the wrong space. Let's take description out here. Let's pass in empty here. Move it there. Then we're going to say description is equal to get spell description I think, let's do this for now. I'm going to do this with edit and continue. All right, set a breakpoint there. Hugo barely missed the SWAT command. All right. Oh yeah, that's right, Hugo. It's on. I'm watching you, buddy. I see you right there. Okay. Initialize player data. Now we're back over here. Switch players. That works. Take Fireball at level 7. All right. So I think what I want to do. There it is right there. Spell.Deister. I think I'm only likely to change this. Is that true? Is that true? Is that true? Oh. There's my cat. I have a spellcaster. I think I could do this too. There might be something here where I could say, look. Let's do this. Let's say if the index of is less than 0, then we're going to say return just the description. Otherwise, we're going to say, let's go in and let's see if we can go into our expressions engine and then say get stir. And let's grab let's send it as an interpolated string like that. And let's just see what that result is coming back from there. Because there's a shot that everything's set up so that this will actually evaluate. What did it do? Oh, no damage came in. Oh, I'm partially my fault on this. I need to pass in the player and the spell. So that's going to come from castedspell.player. .caster, spellcaster, there it is down there. Spellcaster, that's the player. Null for the target. Wait, I think I might actually have a target in here too, though. That's not set yet. Target creature, and then casted spell dot is the last piece, right? Okay. Let's try it again. Set and continue get it this time or no? Nope. Did not get it. I'm going to run it though and try bring it up one more time. Fireball level 8. And yeah, it's not, edit and continue is not highlighting the whole line. It's not, it's like it's not reading my changes. I wonder if I cut the whole thing and paste it in, if that'll see it. There we go. What's my result now? Whoa, whoa, look at that. Look at that, kids. Oh, wait, but we only got 86. It's not calculated all the way out. It needs to be calculated. But it also, but we're getting closer. Okay, so why is the Deister not recalculated? We need to figure that out. I'm going to run it for a second. Let's go figure out Deister and what, yeah, progress. Progress. All right, let's go to the Deister on the on that spell. Recalculate Deister. We're calling it where? Huh. We're calling it there when we create the spell. I can manually call it, but I'm expecting it to already be called. But let's set a breakpoint here. Let's reinitialize the data. Let's make it conditional. Run it. No firebolt? What? So firebolt is getting built without a recalculation of the die string? Is that really true? I think I typed that in wrong. Firebolt. Let's try initializing player data again. See if we get a breakpoint here. There's one. Firebolt. Whoa, we're on fire. Oh, it's 2 words. Okay, that's why I didn't get it. Okay, so we're looking to modify it, but look, we're only asking for spell slot level 0, caster level 0. What's my call stack here? That's where we're building it up. Okay, so are we going to get it again? What are we now at? Let's look at the conditions here. Let's change it back to equals firebolt. This is at fireball now. Firebolt again comes in. What's passed in? Still 0 and 0. I'm anticipating we're going to call it again, passing in the actual. Interesting. So we are not. Let's see what happens when I activate it. Firebolt level 6. We're here. We need to call going back to where we activate the shortcut. I think we need code here that looks something like this. Spell.recalculate, Deister. Where's that in casted spell? No, I don't want matching spell. It's here. Casted spell. Well, no. Create cast action spell. All right, let's use CodeRushed to find all the instances of spell that are assignments. Clone. It looks like we might be able to fix it here. Let's try it in the call to clone. Yeah, I'm going to say let's do it to clone. So I want to do something like this. Recalculate die string. Spell slot level is passed in. Spellcaster level, which is going to come in and be the player dot level, like that. Just make sure this is calculated based on the class as it is. Okay, great. And the spellcasting ability modifier, part of player. We're looking for, it's an int. The spellcasting ability modifier. Hold on, let's. That's what I'm looking for, I think, that. Let's go see what's going on here. Get dice stir. Just drilling all the way in to see where spellcasting ability modifier is used. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure it's that. So we call recalculate die string, passing in that information. And then I think I want to do one more thing. And I want to make a read-only string property that is, call it Deister raw, like that. And it's going to strip out the parens. So we're going to take everything before that paren and trim it. That's going to get that fire damage or whatever the damage is out of the die string. And otherwise, we're just going to return the result. So Deister raw is there. That's in spell. Now around that, we've got this wrapper casted spell. We need the same kind of thing going on that we're doing here. Like that, but we're not going to have a setter. Now, as long as we have this public property here, that means we're going to be able to grab it from our expression, which means if I come in here and change this to Deister raw, that's now going to get just that number, whatever it is, calculated based on the damage at the level I'm throwing it at. So if all of this code is working, that'll get the right value. So instead of seeing 8d6, it'll be 9d6, 10d6, 11d6. That's what should be happening. That's what we're hoping to happen. And again, the fix appears to be on that clone where we just were. Let's see if we're seeing clone up here in where it was. Right over here, I think. Yeah, there we go. So it's cool. I just brought up code places and click over here for my global history to find, oh yeah, I was working in clone right there. Okay. So we're calling recalculate die string there. We could do that, set a breakpoint there. Let's run. And refresh. Recalculate die string. Do we have conditions on this? Let's copy those at least so we've got it. So close. That's 0 and 0. We don't care about that. I'm going to clear this because we got the other breakpoint in the other one. 0, 6. Now we're doing spell slot level. But the spell slot level's wrong. Okay. All right, now we're done initializing. Let's switch over here. Let's take fireball level 6. Get spell description. Just hit run. I should hit the other breakpoint. Why don't you see the Deister raw in spell? It's because it doesn't have a write valuable to it. I wonder if that's it, because it doesn't have a write value. Okay, so we're getting exceptions there. And we crashed because of that. I think the absence of a setter here is leading to the problem where we're not being able to get it. That's what I think. Because we have a Deister raw here. And we have one in the wrapper, which is the real one we're looking at here. Huh, I'm wondering what we can do here, like that. It doesn't like nothing happening. Or like this, I bet this will work. Cool. So we do that, that might fix the bug. I think it's a reflection issue where we're not finding it because it's only a read-only property and we're not specifying give me read-only properties as well as read-write. That's a theory. Okay, initializing the data. Let's run past this. I'm way more interested about it in it when we cast the spell. All right. And let's click on Firebolt level 7 and run. Just get us past the problem. Okay. But we did not. Oh, I was like, I didn't see evidence it worked, but it totally worked. Now I want to make that bolt. Should I do it here or elsewhere? So I'm thinking about something like this to mark bold. Or should I do this instead and then do it manually inside? I'm going to do it inside manually. Here in the code. I'm going to do it here. So we got a breakpoint there. Let's do another spell. Let's do Dragon's Breath at level 4. Let's change this. We're going to put 2 stars there. And oh shoot, that's not going to work. I could do a replace call here. I think I'm going to do a replace call. Like that. Okay. Boom. Run. Okay. Now, let's see what it looks like. Oh, Dragon's Breath. We need to go back to Fireball. Level 5 this time. There we go. Okay, cool. So now we're here. Next, I want to change this into bold. Is what I want to do. Sweet, we're getting closer. Okay, so now to do that, we got to go back down to TypeScript in our spell book when we're wrapping text. Got to go look at our word wrap function. Get word wrap lines. Here we are. Set a breakpoint here. Hold on, let's look at words. All right, so right here, those are my words. Let's get rid of all of this. And let's see what we got here. There it is, right there. Boom, 46. So basically what we want to do is something along those lines. We want to say, hey, if word dot starts with something, then we're going to say we need a bold kind of thing. Here, let's run it for a second to get the song going. All right. Then we're going to come down here. We're going to say, hey, is bold is true. Music's not playing because of the breakpoint. Let me look at this for a little bit here. So this grabs the word wrap lines. It's not quite the same thing I want to do. It's not here. I think I want something like this, because all I'm doing is getting the lines back. It's not a question of whether they need to be word wrapped or not. But I also need to get like a second array showing me when I need to do the bolding. And this is going to be a substr of word length. From 0 all the way up to word.length -2. Because I want my word wrapping to still not be impacted by the double, this symbol. So now I've got this line data thing right here. I think what I need now is I need a new class here. And I think the class is, let's get rid of this while we work. I think the class is, I'm going to call it line data. line wrap data. And so I think it looks like this. And then I need to track the bold data. And I think we need another class called span, which is going to have a property of type number here. It's going to be it's just an offset, so it's going to be like a start and then a stop. Start offset and stop offset is in the span. And so this is going to also have an array of spans. Like that. I can just do this too, I guess. This is the faster, shorter way of doing this. Okay, so there's my bold spans right there. And whenever we reset the current line here, we need to also reset our bold spans. Okay. We need to also pass in our bold spans here. And we push that. Okay, so there. Now, when we start with it, we're going to say last start equals I. Okay, so we've got our last bold start is I. Now we got an end, now we can add it. So now we're going to say our bold spans, this is so crazy, push, new span, the start offset, and then I. is the stop offset. Yeah, I have no idea if this is going to work. All right, so bolt spans there. We're pushing that out. And down here, we want to change that to this. And we want to check to see, right here, I want to set this equal to -1. And now down here, I want to check to see, hey, if my last bold start is greater than or equal to 0, I've got a bold on this line that hasn't been completed yet. Is what I've got. And I think I want to do two things. I want to say bold incomplete is equal to true. Indicating we never found the trailing okay. The other thing I want to do is I want to say this right here. I want to say push this words. Oh, no, wait, not words.length. What's my total? Oh, shoot. It's not. Not I, it's current word, it's current line.length is what I think it is. Yeah, last bold start is there. Oops, that's a bug. Let's fix that. Yeah, Hugo, playing music one bar at a time. And this okay, here it's going to be current line plus length plus word.length plus 1 for the space. Because we're about to come down and do this right here. Ooh, we can really only do it when we add the word. We can't do it here. I think it's going to be like this. We're going to need Daisy and 41i, how you doing? Welcome. Welcome to the stream. Close bold. Close false. Like that. And then we're going to say set it to true. Close bold. It's true. Then we got to do something with it down here. It's getting a little tricky. All right, hold on. So if okay, problem here, we need to Okay, we need to fix that. And so right here, it goes like if close bold, then we want this. Right there. Now, if we're down here, we have actually, I think this can come all the way down to here. And now we can get rid of this. For anybody just joining, we are trying to word wrap and handle bolding formatting inside the word wrap piece. And I'm kind of doing this. It's like I'm stepping on ice through this word wrapping routine to try to make this. I think we're down to this problem right here. Handle when bold turns on in line 1 and turns off in line 2. Which means I think we need a variable called are we in bold or not. This is not recursively called. Okay. So now I want to create a Boolean here that says in bold, set it equal to false. I want that template to work. In bold is false, and then we're going to set it to true. And we're going to set it to false. And now we're going to come down here and we're going to say, hey, if in bold, and we've just wrapped the line, then what we need to do is we're still in bold, but we haven't found the end delimiter yet. So if that's the case, I need to push a new bold span out there. And it's going to look something like this. So we're going to push this span out here. Set that to -1 there. But no, we're not. Then we're going to set this to 0 because we're still in the bold. Like that. Then we got to set in bold to false. The only thing I'm not sure about is, should I set the false here? Yeah, I think I'm going to miss the last one if I don't move this down. In bold false doesn't go here. It goes here. And I think that might be it. Let's see what happens. Oh wait, we gotta change the get word wrap lines. Is that gonna work? I'm not sure if reduce. If that's gonna work. Oh, we've got to come in here. Sorry, we didn't quite finish this right here. If last, shoot. Okay. I think it might just be as simple as that. I feel like there's a bug for multiple paragraphs in here. All right, I'm not too worried about that, but I think that's there. All right, now just make the code work. All right, so I think that may be all we need to get the code just to work. It's not actually going to make anything bold yet, but let's see if we've broken anything. Okay, sending over the player data. Okay. Fireball level 6. Nothing appears to be broken. Okay, so things I'm looking for here are